Everyone is sick of starting laundry over because they forget to move their clothes from the washer to the dryer, and your wet clothes end up sitting there getting stinky. But that's not the issue here today with this machine. The question on everyone's mind, does it actually work well? We're testing the full washing and drying capabilities of this unit with the range of extremely dirty to lightly soiled clothes. To answer that question, just for you. So the way we put this washer to the test, as you can see on the front of the machine, there are loads of cycle options. So we picked 5 standard options that every home will use at some point in their life. We'll be documenting how long each load takes, how clean, how dry the clothes actually get, and how much lint buildup in the lint filter for each load. So let's jump right into the test. To test the quick load cycle, we took some sweaty gym clothes, we took pajamas with dog hair, and threw them in the washer. Being the first time we use this machine, there's always a learning curve. So we wanted to throw detergent into the smart dispenser. So we just put 5 ounces of laundry detergent inside the smart dispenser and tried to get it to work. That was not enough detergent for it to sense it. So if you use small amounts of detergent, just put it in the drawer. You cannot use the smart dispense unless you fill the dispenser all the way up. Another thing we found, being the first time we used this machine, so be aware, we downloaded the app that as we were mid-wash that first cycle, and we were prompted to update. We started the update, it caused us to have to start and redo the entire cycle. With the quick cycle, everybody wants to know how fast can they get a load of laundry finished. With this load, as you click on the quick cycle feature on the machine, it tells you 1 hour and 6 minutes. From our test, it ended up being closer to 1 hour and a half. With the results of our first test with the quick wash, we found that the clothes came out actually very clean. The pet hair was gone. That had been pushed out to the lint filter. The clothes in itself, they were dry. That is key. And the coolest thing about the machine is clothes actually do come out dry. Even though when you first open the washer, you reach your hand in there, there's a humid feeling out there, but you pull the clothes out, they are actually dry. Our second test, how large of an item can fit inside this large capacity washer. We threw in a king comforter. We wanted to see how it fit inside the washer and would it dry? That was the key. It gave us an estimated time of about 3 hours, but after about 3 minutes of sensing what was in there, it actually adjusted down to 1 hour and 45 minutes. During this wash, as well as the others, we have noticed that the top of this machine does get really hot. We actually tested how hot the top of the surface got. It actually got all the way up to 110 degrees. Once the cycle was finished, the true test is how dry was it? It did feel a little humid to the touch when you first touched it. However, it actually was completely dry. As we checked the filter for this load, there was essentially no lint collected during the cycle, which probably depended on what type of comforter we used as well, but there's very little lint that was collected in that lint filter. Test number 3, we wanted to grab more of your typical everyday use clothing items, mix of shirts, shorts, socks. With the active cycle, originally it listed the time of about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It then adjusted briefly after that down to 1 hour and 40 minutes. The app on our phone said it was about finished. We had 1 minute left. The dryer actually switched itself to a load sensing mode, and it actually ended up being about 20 minutes. After that load sensing mode, followed up with a cool down mode for another 10 minutes. So in reality, it was much closer to that 2 hours and 15 minutes than the hour and 40 minutes. We're not 100% sure why the app told us 1 minute left, when in reality there was like 30 minutes left. Hopefully this is one of the features that GE can correct or fix, because it can be a little bit inconvenient when your phone's telling you the laundry is about done when in reality it wasn't. It's not a huge deal, but it could be a little bit annoying for sure, and hopefully that can be fixed down the road. With this third test, it came out similar to the other ones. It seemed clean. clothes were dry. One thing we did do is we wanted to check to see how the lint builds up over time. Sometimes we forget to clean that lint filter. So we wanted to see how that builds up over time. So we didn't change out the lint after load 3. GE in itself actually recommends you don't need to clean it every time. They recommend cleaning it about every 4th load. The machine will actually tell you when the lint filter needs to be cleaned. So GE says 4 loads. It may happen before or after that. As we noticed, it actually happened after our 3rd load. It notified us to clean the lint filter. Test number 4 deals with whites. We all have whites, we know how dirty they can get, and with these whites we made them extremely dirty, soiled with ketchup, with grease, with Kool-Aid spills, red Kool-Aid all over. So we wanted to see how well this machine will wash whites. We did add bleach. There's a specific liquid bleach spot that you can add bleach. So we wanted to see how do these soiled whites come out in this washer and dryer. After the cycle, the results were everything was completely cleaned other than the grease spots. The grease stains did look better than they were. That's not much different than you'll find anywhere else, but it did clean probably better than we expected. And drying wise, it came out just as dry as you would find in any other dryer that we've tested out there as well. With this white cycle, it ended up washing for about an hour and a half, but it also had that extra added time at the end of the cycle, similar to our previous test. So it ended up being closer to that 2-hour time frame. Our test number 5. This is where we wanted to test jeans. Jeans can get dirty really quickly, depending on what your job is, where your kids are at, whether they're playing outside in the grass and the mud. If you're working on cars, there's a lot of things that can happen to jeans. We wanted to heavily test grass stains, we wanted to test dirt, mud, and we wanted to test oil. So we threw them in there. We used the normal cycle. The cycle that most of us use anyway, we throw it on normal and just let it go. Jeans are famous for not being dry in your dryer. When we finished the cycle, they came out really dry. We couldn't find any areas on the jeans that were damp versus the other ones, which was a huge plus. Clean wise, we did find that there was a few grass stains still in certain parts of the jeans, but they are very faint. The mud and dirt seem to be completely gone, and oil, you can see small traces of where the oil was on those pants. None of these results surprise us in terms of underperformance. We feel like it actually might have overperformed more than we were expecting. This cycle took about 2.5 hours. It was about 2 hours wash time, but then it had the load sensing going on for longer than the other ones. My guess is so that it senses that the clothes were completely dry, which were the case when it was finished, but it did take longer than the other cycles. In general, cleanability, dry time of this washer came to perform pretty much how GE suggests and what's expected. Now with this test, with the information we've shared today, we want to preface it with this is new. This is brand new. GE just came out with it in this last year. We never know how technology will last long term. We are hoping it performs as well as it did today long term, but you never know. That's the risk you go with purchasing any brand new technology. But from what we can tell from the tests we take, it did perform as expected and as GE is advertising. Thank you for watching today. Hopefully you got some great information about this brand new GE all-in-one washer. We do know this has started a revolution out there. We know other manufacturers are gonna create something similar to this. So if you're concerned a little bit about longevity, new technology, what's gonna happen because there's not a history, stay tuned. We're gonna share a lot more videos on what we find in the marketplace. So like, subscribe to our channel. There's so much great information on there. We can't do it without you. So thank you for watching. Everyone's sick of it.